Now to some sad news. 2016 has been a terrible year for celebrity deaths. And in its final days, Hollywood movie star and best-selling author Carrie Fisher has died at the age of 60. Last week, she had a heart attack on a plane and has been in the hospital in grave condition ever since. Fisher, of course, is best known for her iconic role as Princess Leia in the Star Wars series, but she's also a best-selling author. ABC News has more on her legacy.
This is our most desperate hour. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far away, it was the cry for help that beamed Carrie Fisher to her place among the stars.
I love you.
I know.
Fresh-faced and full of the Force, she stole Han Solo's heart. In her breakout role in Star Wars, she was unbelievably young, as she told Amy Robach.
I've been Princess Leia for 40 years, and I've never gotten out again.
Even before she was Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher was already Hollywood royalty. The daughter of America's sweetheart, Debbie Reynolds.
That's the girl whose voice you heard and loved tonight.
Her father was Eddie Fisher, who famously ended up dumping Debbie Reynolds to marry her best friend, Elizabeth Taylor. Not an easy family to grow up in.
What the hell are you doing?
Somebody has to save our skins.
Fisher was the only female lead in the original Star Wars trilogy, an action hero and a love interest.
Who are you?
Someone who loves you.
She went on to play dozens of roles over the next 30 years, including parts in When Harry Met Sally and The Blues Brothers. In her personal life, she struggled. Her love life, tumultuous. Her family life, strained. Her battle with drugs, off and on. All of it chronicled in her book, Postcards from the Edge, inspired by her own life story and made into a movie starring Meryl Streep.
I don't really understand how I almost died.
Fisher returned to the spotlight in 2015 with her Amazon Prime show, Catastrophe, plus revamping her most famous role.
Find Luke and bring him home.
Leia.
Now General Leia leading the rebellion in the Star Wars reboot The Force Awakens. Her real-life daughter, Billie Lourd, even making an appearance by her side. And in her final scene as the iconic Princess Leia, her sign-off all the more poignant now.
May the Force be with you.
Carrie Fisher was 60 years old.
We're joined now by our culture correspondent, Maya Margit. Maya, I mentioned how tough this year has been for celebrity deaths,
Yes.
but boy, does this one hurt. Especially, wasn't she really in the midst of a big comeback now with the Star Wars series finally coming up again?
She was in the midst of a comeback, and actually people had hoped that she would survive her heart attack because her mom, Debbie Reynolds, recently said that she was in stable condition, but unfortunately it wasn't to be. And yeah, she was making a comeback. She had just appeared in 2015. She had come back in her role as Princess Leia, but this time she wasn't just a princess, she was the leader of the resistance. So she was given a very senior, important role, and actually the director of the film in January said that he hoped to keep using Princess Leia, or Leia Carrie Fisher actually, in this key role for his upcoming film. He had included her in many of his storylines, but now that she's passed away, it's not really we're not really sure what's going to happen. Many Star Wars fans are speculating. They're trying to figure out, what are they going to do now? Are they going to kill off her character? Are they going to maybe recreate her using CGI? Are they going to recast her as recast another actor in her role? Although I don't know how they could recast someone else in her role because she's such an iconic character, basically.
Sure. Sure. I mean, it's a little scary to me thinking that they use CGI to keep her going in the series, but I know they, in fact, did use some of that for one of the characters in this new Star Wars film, Rogue One, Peter Cushing, who died years ago. I mean, it's amazing what they can do now. Now, of course, for someone like me who saw Star Wars when it first came out, the original in 1977, she will always be Princess Leia. But I know for a lot of other people, for younger people, she left a different legacy. Where do you think she's going to be? How do you think she's going to be remembered most?
I think even for younger people, she's going to be remembered most as Princess Leia, but her writing is also she was a really prolific writer, a screenwriter in Hollywood. She wrote many, many scripts. She wrote many books that are very witty, and she described her life very openly. She wrote an autobiography where she talked about her problems with drug addiction, with mental health issues, and some actually are seeing her as a mental health advocate because she described her problems with bipolar disorder very openly. Right. She had issues with depression as well, prescription medication, but also for feminists, actually, she's seen as an icon because she was this princess in a film, but she was also a warrior princess. She was fighting back. She was doing different things. So many feminists are actually saying that she's a feminist icon as well.
Now, you mentioned her daughter, Billie Lourd, is herself an actress, and of course her mother, Debbie Reynolds, and Carrie Fisher, the singer, so she really was Hollywood royalty.
Hollywood royalty. This is why everyone all over the world is reacting so strongly to her passing. You have George Lucas, he came out in support of her. He said it was a great loss, devastating. Mark Hamill as well. Everyone is very saddened about this, although she did have a heart attack, so it wasn't completely a shock.
Maya Margit, thanks for joining us.